Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. It's been a while. We were down visiting Page down in San Diego. Great time, although we saw 3 fires break out in a single day down there. We are at war, my friends, on every front. It's crazy. If you haven't seen it yet, I had another discussion with Dave at X22 Report. Great guy, great discussion. Go check that out. He's been banned from YouTube for a very long time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, go check it out. You can find the discussion at the Road to Ruta site. It's the very first one put up there. The entire economic structure is about to collapse. Go check that out at roadtoruta.com. Let's talk silver. Oh, what do we say about silver? If you've been in this game long enough, I've been in it, this is just embarrassing to admit, 25 years. 25 years actively fighting the silver cabal, the banker cabal, the rigging of the silver price. 25 years. When I got in, it was like, what, $4, between $4 and $5, and we're like, oh, if it goes past 5, it's going to run. The control is limitless. Limitless. And that goes for silver. That goes for gold. That goes for stocks and bonds and the US dollar and cryptos. Every single exchange, every single market is 100%, not 99%, 100% controlled and rigged by computers and futures and options and all the bullshit that gets thrown at you. In crypto markets, it's rehypothecation of shares. They're not shares, of tokens, of cryptocurrencies. These exchanges do not have and never did have all the cryptos that they say their customers own. Remember Mt. Gox, don't forget. So what do? You get your assets in your own possession. Silver in your own possession. Gold, if you don't understand the gold-silver ratio, get gold in your own possession. Cryptos in your own possession. Everything in your own possession, because what we have been waiting for so long is about to happen. When, Bix? When's it going to happen? I thought it would happen in 1999 when I first discovered that silver was being massively rigged. And over the years, I figured out, holy shit, it's been rigged for 180 years. Imagine holding a beach ball under the water that keeps getting bigger and bigger for 180 years. When that thing goes, it's going to go. I believe it will shut down all markets because the banks will collapse. The derivative bubble will collapse. JP Morgan will be put in the spotlight. HSBC will be put in the spotlight. Bank of America put in the spotlight. All these rigging banks. But banks are beyond fragile right now. So this is the big thing that's going to happen. It's so big that they've kicked the can down again and again. Kicked the can down the road again and again. We've been trying to go back to a gold and silver standard since 1930. We've been trying to go back. A real one this time. Not where the bankers decide the value of gold or the value of silver, but the market decides it. A real market, not a derivative market. These derivative markets were created by Alan Greenspan in the early 1970s when he created the electronic banking system. Yes, it was Alan Greenspan who blamed himself for Y2K. Him and a couple other guys invented electronic money. And at the same time, they invented the computer rigging programs to control all markets. And this has even been admitted to by the old Trump head of the CFTC, Chris Giancarlo, who said after he got out of the heading the CFTC, he said, we had to put futures and options into Bitcoin because otherwise the price would just keep going up. So he got together. He even admitted it. Trump asked them to all get together and figure out a way to rig the price of Bitcoin, and it's still being rigged. The fact that all these institutions are getting into Bitcoin through these ETFs is the worst thing that can possibly happen to Bitcoin. What do you mean, Bix? Look at Bitcoin's at 5. Is it up 5x since I bought it a couple months ago and blah, blah, blah. It's over $100,000, Bix. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Put yourself in my shoes where I know there's a financial collapse coming, and everybody should know that by now. It's pretty obvious on every sector. What is the legal obligation for JP Morgan or one of these ETF holding companies? What is their legal obligation to sell, if the whole entire system is going down, that means everybody's got to get liquid. Everybody needs cash. What are they going to sell? Well, what do they own? What's the fastest sale for them? Most liquid. If you hold Bitcoin, it's probably going to be Bitcoin. So any of these banks or institutions holding Bitcoin, that'll be one of the first things they sell. So there you go. You got artificial price slam of Bitcoin because everybody wanted the big guys into Bitcoin. But we know they use derivatives, futures, options, ETFs to rig the price. So and the same thing, you look at silver, and there's I'd say 700 million ounces in silver ETFs. Some say 1 billion, but I don't think so. But who knows? Nobody really knows because they don't have to do real accounting for those ETFs. And that's in the prospectus. JP Morgan lies, cheats, and steals. We already know that. I mean, they already paid the largest fine ever, and that was nothing. And that was during the Trump administration, mind you. So no, I don't think the collapse of SLV will do anything to the true silver price. We don't know the true silver price. And if we were in a collapse like that, the COMEX wouldn't even be open for business, nor would the New York Stock Exchange, nor would the NASDAQ, nor will any crypto exchange other than decentralized, maybe. Would the internet even be working? Not as well as it does. With the collapse of everything, you got to collapse everything. You got what you got. And I think we're hitting that point. The remote viewer saw it coming this year. Jenny sees it coming in April, sees something coming in April. I think Cliff's in April also. And all the woo-woo people, I mean, April seems to be, yeah. And then how long does it last? I don't know, 6 months? Well, you don't know the price of gold, silver, cryptos. You got what you got. Hopefully you have a little lead in your investments to protect it. But yeah, we are coming into a time the world has never seen. The end of unbacked fiat money. There's never been a world's reserve currency. The U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency. There's never been one of those in history. Well, you could possibly say that gold was a world reserve currency for a while. And gold does not fail as a currency. It doesn't. It's what people do to it that makes it fail. It's when the goldsmiths back in the day were printing too many receipts. It's the people intervention into gold. Now, there is a huge problem with gold, and that is that there's so much gold out there. There's not 200,000 tons like they'll tell you. There's more like 2 million tons, 10 times that. And that will come out over time. Silver, it's less. Silver, they had to shut down the largest and most secret military facility, the Manhattan Project. They built the Y-12 facility at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, to enrich the uranium. They used my calculations, and from what I've read and seen the spreadsheets for, it was close to 3 billion ounces. They took everything. At first, it was like 700 million ounces, and they admitted to that. But then there's more. In more admissions, they said, oh, more is available if needed, and they did need it. They needed the other facility. It's called the Beta facility at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and that for 50 years, they were creating enriched uranium. And then in the 90s, they finally shut it down, or most of it down. And all that metal came back into the market. A lot of people say, oh, my God, there's irradiated metal in the market. I don't know. I've never tested the silver for that, but potential's there. They used them in magnets to go to roadtoroad.com and look up the Great Silver Mystery Solved. I discovered this probably in... it was the early 2000s, and I was writing articles back then. I wasn't talking on YouTube. I don't even think YouTube was around at the time, but at roadtoroad.com, there's hundreds of articles about silver and gold and manipulation going back 15, 20, it'll be probably 25 years or so. Now, I started the website in 2010, but I uploaded a lot of my writings, so go check it out, roadtoroad.com. Anyway, a lot of people don't care what happened in the past. They care about what's happening now. It's all connected. The reason silver's going to stop trading and everybody's going to freak out is everything that happened in the past. Oh, by the way, Metals Focus came out, and the Silver Institute came out with the projection of what they're going to do what they're going to report in 2024 ridiculous. The numbers are completely ridiculous. They missed everything by massive amounts. They didn't say, especially the industrial silver. They're still at like the low, probably 220 million ounces for industrial silver. It's double that. It's 450. And you could do the easy calculation of how much silver is used per watt and how many watts were installed. We're at 600 gigawatts globally. It's an easy calculation, knowing that most of it's TopCon now. It just, at some point, you get to where you're saying, holy crap, how long can the Silver Institute lie to people? How many people believe it? Not many people believe what they say anymore, but the big institutions in the media sure pumps it. Remember, nobody wants the silver price to rise. Talk to every single one of your friends about the silver price. They'll say, what are you talking about, the silver price? Who cares about the silver price? And then say, hey, would you care if your flat screen TV that you're going to buy next week doubled in price overnight? Yeah, they care about that. Would you care that your cell phone all of a sudden became $500 more expensive? Would you care that you can't put solar panels up on your roof? Would you care? Would you care that all your computer equipment that you buy has jumped 10% in price? Everything people use these days has silver in it. Everything. And it's in little bits, so it's really hard to recycle. I do believe that these solar panels that have gone in the past 3 or 4 years, they have 30 to 40 year lifespan, supposedly. I think they'll be ripped down and tried to recycle all the silver out of there. It's going to cost $100 an ounce to recycle the silver. We will see, right? We'll see. Anyway, currently silver they're playing with the moving averages. Interesting look at the moving averages right now. They're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Will they cross? I don't know. Right now the 100-day is at $30.99, and the 200-day is above $30 now. That's pretty good. So anytime it drops below, India is buying. So is China, so is Russia. The numbers for January, my prediction is the numbers for January, which are right in here. The January numbers, it doesn't start delivering, so the import numbers for January are going to start like right in here to here, all under moving averages. I think it'll be 50 million ounces imported, and everybody's going to be shocked. Oh my God, India just imported 50 million ounces of silver. Ah! Yeah, the Silver Institute say, oh no, it's a quirk in the market. So sad. They did, I think the final calculation would be right around 280 million ounces last year, the second largest ever. Only because the December purchases of physical silver, I think they went over 300, but the physical purchases don't get delivered for 1 to 2 weeks. So we're going to see, it's a half month off. So all the December, and it was the end of December, second half of December is when all the silver was bought, because that's when the silver was below the moving averages, especially right here at $29, which was $1 or 50 cents below the 200-day moving average. India's loading up. China's loading up. Russia's loading up. No, there's barely any retail action right now. Why is that? Who knows? Everybody's running into cryptos. Who knows? By the way, I believe Miles Franklin still accepts cryptos as payment for silver. Go check him out there. Go info@milesfranklin.com and ask Andy if they're what cryptos they're accepting as payment for silver. Especially if you have some Bitcoin. Great time to swap Bitcoin for some silver. Not all of it. Just take a little chunk off the table. As far as what's going on, same old. The EFP, Exchange for Physicals, last year were massive. So if you go to HarveyOrganBlog.com and you look down at 2024, you don't hear this anywhere except Harvey. Thank you, Harvey. 1.363. 1 billion. 1.36 billion ounces were bought on the COMEX, transferred over to London for physical delivery. Now, whether or not they got delivered, I don't know. the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, is a cartel, and they don't tell you exactly what really happens. They claim that billions of ounces transact, real physical ounces get transferred every day. It's full of shit. Such a lie. But yeah, that's what happened, and I think that was the largest ever. No, it wasn't. Ooh. Yeah, it was. Let's find out. We're looking for, what is it? 1.36 billion ounces. 24, that's 1.1 billion ounces. That's 1.1 billion ounces. And it only started in 2021. So that's all, out of all the data, last year was the biggest ever exchange for physical. It was also the second biggest imports from into India. It was also the biggest by far silver used in solar panels. It was also the biggest by far silver used in automobiles, electric and regular. So every category blew out of the waters. And watch what the Silver Institute says when they publish their ridiculous report in April, I think it is. They're going to say, oh, silver demand went up 3%. Bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Silver used in solar panels alone went up at least 35%. At least. Up. And they'll change the historical numbers so it doesn't look so dramatic. And this is from already elevated numbers that went up 76% the year before. This game has got to end one day. And where do you want to be? You want to be holding physical metal in your own possession. Obviously, if we have a system breakdown because of the derivative situation, a system breakdown or a war or something, obviously every mining company, if held in foreign lands, is going to be nationalized. It should be obvious to everybody now. So if you're looking, I think that's why all the mining shares are down so much. People are starting to figure out, holy shit, this is so valuable. The metal in the ground is so valuable. It's too valuable. You think Mexico is going to allow the bankers or a foreign owner to take the riches of their people, especially if the collapse of the currency happens, which I think it will. Of course nationalization is going to happen all over the place. In America, we have our Constitution and we have guns. So I don't think there'll be any confiscation of metal. Maybe in the warehouses of J.P. Morgan and stuff like that, the larger warehouses, but I don't think on an individual basis. It doesn't make sense. Most people don't have any. And the United States have massive amounts of gold. Massive amounts of gold. We've been preparing for this for over 115 years. Since the creation of the Fed. The United States has been preparing for this. There's massive amounts of gold coins and silver coins in warehouses. Where'd they get all the gold? All over the place. In the markets, from the Grand Canyon, from Chocolate Mountain in California, which was a huge find of gold back in the 90s. There was a big scuttlebutt about Dianne Feinstein putting in a desert wildlife preserve. 40% of California is owned by the federal government because it's all gold land. Massive amounts of gold and silver all over the place in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's where and they just lock it up because of the regulations. I remember owning a company called Mines Management, who had the biggest stash of gold in the world. Stash of silver in the world, but they couldn't get the permits and all that. Why do you think they couldn't get the permits? It's probably still there, but remember, when the shit falls apart, government's going to try to hold on for dear life. And part of that will be grabbing as much as they can. I don't think they're going to last. I don't think any government is going to last this collapse because it's the government's fault for destroying our nation. We found that out. We're living through that now. Trump is having to fix everything. Can he do it? I don't know. He's doing a lot. Don't get me wrong. Trump is out there. I'm going to get to that in a second. Out there doing everything he can. Is it enough? No. And don't forget, Trump was the biggest market rigger in his last administration. Admitted by anybody who knew anything about silver. Then J.P. Morgan tried to destroy the repo market. And what did Trump do? He attacked their silver position, charged them with RICO charges, which means they have to pay back 3 times. So Jamie Dimon bent over and said, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Trump. Bow to the man. And he did. Jamie Demon, as Epstein clients knew him as. Jamie Demon. Anyway, moving on. ComEx deliveries, same old, except a little bit different. We still have HSBC delivering the most, or second most. I think it's the second most. Let's take a look. Oh, yep. JP Morgan customers are delivering the most. Now, this is a non-delivery month. And February is I think it's a non-delivery month. I think March. No, February is a delivery. I don't know which is the delivery month. It always screws me up at the beginning of the year. I think it's February. Anyway, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. What does matter is this. Is this right here. Exchange for physical. How much is going to the LBMA? And again, you go look at Harvey Oregon blog. January is 48 million, which is pretty small. So let's see what happens next month. It'll be interesting. Pretty small. I mean, it's still 48 million ounces. That used to be a massive month for a delivery month. And you add that on top of this, which is, that'd be 11 million ounces coming out of the COMEX. That's big for a non-delivery month. All right. So silver, of course it's rigged. Of course you should buy it, own it, keep it in your own possession. I think Andy has a great deal on the pre-65 coinage, which is my favorite type of silver for various reasons. One, it is a national currency, which means if you fake, it's real hard to fake dimes and nickels and half dollar, or dimes and quarters and half dollars. It's very hard to put like molybdenum in it, and that's one of the main reasons I like it. But it's also got tougher laws against it in the United States. That's counterfeiting laws. That carries a much longer prison sentence than just faking, putting molybdenum in a 100-ounce bar. But I do think there will be a legal separation between physical silver and silver coinage used by created by the U.S. Mint, and it should be. And I think that will happen. And I do think we'll go on, at least partially onto a gold and silver standard, because it's already in the books. We don't need a government to tell us that. So when we do go back to that, can you use cryptos? Sure you can. Will they be integrated into the U.S. system? That would take a change of the law. It could happen. Over time. I don't think we really need government in money. Who gives a shit about government? Our government is going to be so small after the crash. I mean, you think Elon is going to, he's not there to make the government more efficient. He's there after the collapse to figure out what we need after the collapse, which I think is coming probably April. Don't quote me on that. I've said so many dates in the past. And can they kick the can down the road? Absolutely they can. It's easy for them to do it. Futures and options, that's all you need. Fake it till you make it. And they can't make it, so they've had to fake it for 170 years. All right, let's talk cryptos really quick. Cryptos looking really strong. Bitcoin and some of the cryptos are looking really strong. They're 100% rigged. 100% rigged. There's a lot of fraud in there, but there are diamonds in the rough. My favorites, obviously, are Theta. Although Theta right now, look, under $2. Crazy. If you got any money, buy Theta. Huge company doing everything they said. They have a massive roadmap for this year, and they've never missed a roadmap. They've never missed. But, some of the things moves on the marketing side were pretty dumb, like the Katy Perry debacle on NFTs, but they got sucked into the NFT world. Like everybody. Was it Beanie Babies? Yeah, most of it was Beanie Babies, but the technology of NFTs, the smart contracts is what's important there. So Theta, but right now the Theta to Theta fuel ratio, it's gone down. It was at 35. Now it's 31.5. I think that'll go down to about 10 to 1, maybe anywhere 10 to 15 to 1. So, yeah, I love Theta, but right now maybe Theta Fuel would be a wiser purchase. but that's just because it has in the Theta protocol, in the edge nodes, it's got that use case that everybody's going to be looking at in the future. What cryptos are good are the cryptos that help out humanity. Yeah, Bitcoin will be great as a store of value. Litecoin will be great as a means of exchange. Theta will be great as a way to decentralized AI. Share your broadband. Share your... Yeah, people say, well, what about Elon's plan to put say, internet on everybody's phone through Starlink? Yeah, that would be amazing. Would that speed up the content delivery network type of, the CDN, the reason Theta was invented in the first place was for a content delivery network. Those are these big, massive companies and large concentrations of people that put out all the Netflix videos at one time and things like that. Would it eat into that business if you had global free internet? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's a tiny part of what Theta is doing now, which is the edge node is literally combining the powers of all computers together in a web. So yeah, decentralized cloud services, that's going to be a monster, especially if we go to war, and war is on the table. Probably Russia, China, and the USA if we do go to war. Or on the flip side, if you believe there's good guys, maybe it's Russia, China, and the USA coming together and saying, here's how the new world is going to run. Don't know. We'll see. It's either be the three big guys at war or Europe is done. I mean, sorry for all my friends in Europe, but it's hard to leave your home when you see things falling apart. I live in California, and I'm on YouTube. I see it falling apart, but do I leave or do I fight for it? I'm staying. I'm fighting for my country. I know that California, the vast majority is not crazy. They're suckers. They fell for the con. They have a rigged voting system in California. And even with all that, 40% of California voters voted for Trump. It was actually Trump or RFK, but California wouldn't take RFK off the ballot because they knew it would hurt Trump. Freaking, these Democrats are absolutely nuts. And they not only need to be removed from office, they need to be tried for the crimes that they've committed. And there are many. But yeah, 40% of California voted for Trump. People don't understand. No, it's not crazy Democrat liberals running the whole show. Maybe in politics, yes. Maybe on the news, yes. But there's a large amount of very sane people in California. Even with this rigged voting, they got 40%. I think if it was free voting, yeah, Trump would have won California. And I think we'll move to that, I think, next election cycle. If we have another president. I don't know. What happens when the system falls apart? Who knows? Right? Anyway, the other one we're looking at, what's T-Fuel right now? 60 cents. That's a good buy. Let's take a look at it for the year. Yeah, I'd say 60 cents is a great buy. The all-time high is like, it's 6 cents now. All-time high is 60 cents. So that's a 10x just to get back to the all-time high. I think that very reasonable this year because of what Theta is doing. And the roadmap is shocking. Go to medium.com, Theta Labs channel, and you'll see the roadmap is massive. Look at all those partners. Edge Cloud, Amazon Web Services, Google Web Services, Microsoft Web Services, all of them. Because they know everything's going decentralized. And to do that, you need to connect it all. And not one of them could do it alone. Especially now that the patents are out there for Theta. That's why they're all joining Theta. Why don't they promote Theta? Because they have their own web services that they are currently running. They know the future is decentralized. And they want to be part of it, but they're going to make money while they can, so they're not going to pump up Theta. Theta will go crazy, trust me, at some point. Into the thousands. I think Michelle White-Dove had it absolutely correct. All right, I just wanted to show you this. I love going through Zero Hedge because you kind of get a state of the chaos, state of the chaos of this new administration. There's gun battles on the border of Mexico. I mean, who the hell would want to fight if you're a Mexican drug cartel? Do you really want to go up against the U.S. Army when they have full control of the border? I mean, it's not the crazy Democrats on the border anymore. It's the U.S. military. And I mean, how easy could they take these guys out? Pretty easy. NVIDIA is going to go crazy up and down and all over the place. Especially, hey, if there's a war that breaks out and NVIDIA can't make its chips in Taiwan, good night, NVIDIA. So I'm like, don't own. Now is not the hot time to own any stocks or bonds or hold any money in the bank. There's no reason, and there's high risk. Deep fake is the chat CCP. People complaining that the what is it? Deep Seek, I think they call it. The Deep Seek. Hold on a second. I think it was right here at the bottom. I think it's Deep Seek. Anyway, the Chinese AI offering Deep Seek. Of course, it's going to be slanted towards them, just like ChatGPT is slanted towards the leftist deep state people, and just like what's the Grok, Elon Musk is slanted. They're all slanted. Whoever wrote the program is going to slant it. These AI programs are written by people. Can they learn what? The scary thing is they may learn to take us out. I'm looking at there's a chat, there's an AI thing you can do with your website that basically is a Q&A type of thing. It would be an avatar of me answering questions that customers have live, and all that the avatar does is an AI that reads everything I've ever written and comes up with answers. It's really cool. Me and Amy are looking into that. That'd be fun, don't you think? Anyway, it's the future probably. Deep Seek, yeah, that's the name of it. Crazy. Trump is fighting a great fight, but at the end of the day, he's still rigging markets. And at the end of the day, I think Trump knows what we know. The rig is in, it always has been in. It's time to change from the old system to the new system. And to do that, all you got to do is let go of the rig. You don't have to attack anything. All you got to do is stop rigging the markets for half a second and everything implodes. The entire system of 3 quadrillion in derivatives is held together with Scotch tape right now. So hang on to your hats. Just a lot of stuff going on. Trump says he'll send troops to turn on the water in California. Absolutely. Get Gavin Newsom out of here. That guy is evil. We need to take him out of office. And then if he committed crimes, try him for the crimes. Just like everybody in politics. When the electronic monetary system ends and the derivative bubble goes off, they get their power. The bad guys get their power from the control of unbacked fiat money. Can you imagine how many billions of dollars the Biden family has stolen while he was in office? Probably hundreds of billions, just like Obama, hundreds of billions, just like the Bushes, just like everybody. I think it's their own piggy bank, and they can, so they do. They take the money. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Overall, hey, join the road to Ruta. Go check out the discussion with David X22, and then look at some of the solar stats that I put up, and look at the Silver Institute. All these red box numbers are numbers, historical numbers that they changed. The Silver Institute changes historical numbers to massage the reality out of their numbers. They basically announce half of what the true silver consumption was in 2023, and they're going to do it again, except it's even less than half. It's probably 450 million ounces just for solar, and they're going to come up with like 210, 220. Because they lie, and everybody should know that by now. And here, I point this out, I'm like, well, here's this publication, and then they changed it. Everyone has changed. from 822 to 836, from 180 to 176. If that's true, then we had massive numbers in 2023. Why don't they come out and say that? Why don't they say they changed their numbers? They don't, because they don't think anybody's going to check prior announcements. But I did. I do. So lots of good stuff there. Also, check out my discussion with the head of Silver Eagle Sales at the U.S. Mint. He admits they are breaking 5 different laws. Go check that out. I'm not sure if he's there anymore. Great discussion with Cliff on Silver on the fate of humanity. This goes way back. It's really cool. And then if you want to know what the Road to Ruta theory is, what the hell is the Road to Ruta theory? There are 2 videos on it. Talks about the Wishes and Rainbows comics that came out of the Fed, Boston. What does it mean? Why is the Fed Boston saying we have to go back to a gold standard? Where are we going to get the gold? And part 2 is the gold in the Grand Canyon. Massive amounts of gold in the Grand Canyon. What we got, what we know is still there, what's in the banks of the Colorado River, the gold rush in the Grand Canyon of the 1920s that everybody seems to have forgotten about, and why it didn't work. I had a great debate with Steve St. Angelo on that. Go check that out. Yeah, lots at roadtoruta.com. And for a private road subscription, we're giving away 1 Theta family of tokens. A wallet with 5 Theta, 50 T fuel, and 500 T drop loaded on a paper wallet mailed to your front door with every private road subscription or renewal. Oh, one thing else I wanted to say on cryptos, Veritasium. Get used to that word, Veritasium. I've seen some things that I'm like, oh shit, this is really going to happen. When the system falls apart, the U.S. is really going to go to Reggie because they gave him the patent on DeFi, on peer-to-peer capital transactions. Reggie Middleton has the patent. Michael Saylor, buying all that Bitcoin and attaching it to his stock, that's covered in Reggie Middleton's patent as well, I believe, to a point. Reggie Middleton's patent doesn't cover Bitcoin, doesn't cover standalone blockchains, but it does cover what you do with that. If you make capital transactions, all the DeFi stuff, 100% of it, all the exchanges are in violation. Why do you think it says this? This is the only crypto on CoinMarketCap. The Securities Exchange Commission has filed charges against Reggie Middleton, blah, blah, blah. Why do you think they put that? Because they're in violation of Reggie's patent too, and they know it. Anyway, but we gave away 1 Veritasium token it was about a week, and we sold out. And it's hard to get. There's ways you can get it on decentralized exchanges. It pops up here and there, but can't get it in quantity. And the price really means nothing because look at the volumes. The volumes. That's $1,000 in volume in the last 24 hours. Because it doesn't trade on any exchanges. What market's it on? The Doo-Doo exchange, whatever exchange that is, and Trade Ogre. I heard pros and cons about that. I heard, the key is if you can get it off. Yeah, you can go on these exchanges and trade it, but can you take it off their exchange and get it into your own possession? I've heard pros and cons of Trade Ogre. So I wouldn't do it. But hey, cryptos are, it's a wild west in cryptos. Do what you can. Try to get yourself some Veritasium. That's what I got for you. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'll talk to you later.